meridian. You'll notice this is the northern hemisphere, with the 90th parallel being in the center. You will also
interesting and advanced.
Okay, now we're going to see some more of Gerard Mercator's work. This map is on page 86 and half of 87 in the book Mapmaker's Art. Many significant things concerning this map. It is one of Gerard Mercator's most famous maps. You'll notice this is the northern hemisphere, with the 90th parallel being in the center. You will also notice that there is a navigational meridian placed here. We'll find out why later. You will notice here the detail of the Hudson Bay. And right here, we have Southampton Island. No question about it. This right here is the northern coast of North America. This is the northern coast coming over to Alaska. Point Barrow is about right here, and this Alaska is upside down, and it is missing the very important Aleutians. It is called the region of California, as was the entire west coast of North America. Right here we have what later became the Bering Straits, northern Siberia, Nova Zembla, northern Europe, Spitzenbergen, right here. And right here we can see a very detailed map, very detailed, very accurate, of the coastline of Norway. And if you look right down here, you can see the tip of Scotland. Iceland is right here. Moving over, we see Friesland again, and we can see also that right here is the 350th meridian line. And we can come up a little bit more. For many years it was believed that Greenland had a large island at its southern tip, which was not true. And here is Greenland. And up here in this corner, the upper left-hand corner of the map, we find again Friesland, but it's in much more detail now. All these wonderful places. There's little castles here, tiny villages, and Friesland is well documented. Now we're going to look at the script contained in these 4 islands, which we will see are called the Bargos Islands, with a mysterious apparition here in the center.
Let me describe to you the script that is on the landmass in the north. First, let us go up here. This describes the North Magnetic Pole. Let us now go to the physical pole. In dead center, it says Rupes Nigra et Altissima. Describes a very dark and high canyon right in the middle of the pole. Let us now go to this island over here at the top left. It describes that from the ocean there enter 4 rivers that flow northwards into the pole, and there are 19 openings from those rivers into the ocean. These rivers flow northward and empty into the Central Sea, and then empty into the very dark mountain or canyon, and they empty into the inner earth. This canyon is approximately 33 leagues wide, which is, I believe, about 100 miles. Now let us go down here. This describes that this is the healthiest and most fabulous island in the north. This here describes that this river or channel flows northwards and is divided, and it has 3 openings into the outer sea, and this particular channel is approximately 37 leagues wide. Over here, on this island, it describes that here live small people or pygmies about 4 foot tall, which are called Skrælingers in Greenland. Now over here, it describes that this particular river, its flow is so great northwards that it never freezes during the year. Over here, it describes that in this part of the north lie the Bargo Islands, which can be read in the book by Paolo Venetti, and they circle the pole in the sea. Another significant thing about this particular river here is that it only freezes 3 months out of the year. It is blocked right there, 3 months out of the year. Now let us go further down here to the Hudson Bay. We already described this island as Southampton Island. It describes that this particular sea is made of fresh water and its extent is unknown to its natives in Canada. A very detailed map by Gerard Mercator.
The next map that we're going to show you is a Michael Mercator map from 1595, and it was used up to 1636. Michael Mercator was also a grandson of Gerard Mercator. As you can see, he was a brilliant engraver. Now, we are not sure if he was a cousin or a brother to Romuald Mercator, but they had to be one or the other. Many significant things of this map. As you can see, it shows the Western Hemisphere. We have Terra Australis down here, North America here, South America here. This is a plaque that we found at an antique store. No one there knew what it was, but we did, and we picked it up very cheap. The script in the New Guinea section is virtually the same as what we read you earlier. The script here in Terra Australis is also the same. You can see the space between the two getting wider. We have the same script up here in North America concerning Christopher Columbus. Up to the north, once again, we have the Bargos Islands. And over here, we have a script that tells how the Amazon River had been completely discovered and mapped. Once again, this map was printed in several different editions from the year 1595 up to 1636. This is indeed one of the latter renditions of the map. It is also important to point out that this map has Friesland right here in the far top corner, top edge. Well-crafted map by Michael Mercator, grandson of Gerard Mercator. Okay, we're quickly going to show you several other very famous maps that featured Friesland. This is taken from page 62 of Mapping of North America by John Goss. And this map was used widely between 1627 and 1676. It is the first English map. It is done by John Speed and printed in London. And it does feature Friesland in the upper corner. The next page will show the famous Blau map of 1630. It also has Friesland up here, the upper edge, and then again on page 64 we have a Hendrik Hondius map, which also shows Friesland, the upper border, and Hondius tutored under the great Gerard Mercator. Now we're going to enter into the picture a very famous engraver and one of the most controversial figures of his time, Matthias Quadus. Matthias Quadus lived from 1557 to 1613. He was hailed as a brilliant geographer and a master engraver. His engraving style of maps was somewhat different from others. He took the known regions and mapped them as if they were on a cylinder, which made navigation by his maps easier. But at the same time, it distorted the northern and southern regions. There was a gentleman named Bussemacher who printed his maps for him in various atlases, and they operated out of Cologne, Germany. This map was crafted by Matthias Quadus in the year 1600. This was the year that Matthias Quadus was banned by the church. And in the northern region here, you can see two huge bodies of land here and here, and a region of water coming down right along in here, as if it were a river. And now we're going to show you another controversial Matthias Quadus map. This is now an original 1600 Matthias Quadus manuscript from a small atlas printed by Bussemacher. This is the reverse of the map. As you can see, it is mounted in double glass. This is Terra Australis. There are many significant things concerning this map. It is actually two maps. This right here shows the Straits of Magellan, which are called Magellanicum. This right here is Terra Australis, but it actually looks more like Antarctica we know it today. Right here we have New Guinea. And this region right here to the north was called Terra del Fuego. And this right here is the northernmost tip of it, this being the Cape of Storms, South America. And as was true with many of the Matthias Quadus maps, he enjoyed putting as much information on the front of the map as he possibly could. And we're going to examine this legend right here and point out some facts as they were interpreted then. Each one of these scripts, captions, is numbered to a corresponding position on the map. This is area number 1. Area number 1 reads, These regions are extremely vast, as written by the foreigners Paulus Vanetti and Ludwig Vottelmann. Now going down here to number 2, we find the gold-bearing province. And right above that it says beach. Right here at number 3 is the land of many aromas. Number 4, right here, this being Africa and Madagascar. Between these islands, St. Lawrence and Romeros, it can be noticed that the flow of the ocean changes periodically. Number 5, right here, says, here as noticed by the Portuguese lie incredible looking birds of large size. And number 6, right here, this region of Australis was named after its discoverer, Magellan. And number 7, right here, this land is a newly discovered island, and it is uncertain whether it is part of Terra Australis. Shortly after this map was pressed, engraved, printed, whatever you prefer, Matthias Quadus was banned by the church for a time of making maps. But we can see that he was not banned for more than 8 years. Now we're going to look at the map that started all of this absurdity in our journeys back through time. This is again from 1600, an original Matthias Quadus engraving printed by Bussemacher in Cologne, Germany. This map comes from a different atlas printed in 1608 by Bussemacher, scripted by Matthias Quadus. The reverse of the map explains in great detail many aspects of the Arctic region. We will read some of this as it is translated from Latin momentarily. Now we are going to show you the front of this original 1608 map done by Matthias Quadus. Here again we have a rendition of the Northern Hemisphere. There are many points of interest on this map. Many of them have already been covered. As you perhaps noticed with the Terra Australis map, much of the script that we translated had already been used on Mercator maps and other maps as well. This particular map goes into more detail concerning the North. And we are going to begin reading script with this paragraph right here. For your convenience, we have turned the map on its side. And it begins like this. Friesland is said to be larger than Ireland and was unknown to the ancients. The climate is extremely harsh. Inhabitants do not have any fruits but live on seafood. Furthermore, many of them have sailed throughout the ocean and brought their loaded ships to all maritime European cities and to many nations of Africa and Asia. During this period, English ships frequently went to Friesland, and it became known as Western England. There you can find a maximum daylight of 19 hours. Now we have turned the map upside down, showing the paragraph on the other side, which says, Greenland is an island which is quite unknown. Its inhabitants live off of winged game and fish. There exists a mountain just like Etna, which constantly erupts and emits rocks in the form of hot cinders, which when cooled become weak walls, and when water is thrown against them, it makes great lime or potash. In this same place, there is a hot spring, which its water is being used by a neighboring monastery of the Manachar order for the use of heating and cooking of food. It snows 9 months out of the year, during which time very little unfrozen land is visible. Now back to the center of the map. We're going to start with this section here and read exactly what it says. 4 channels break up the island, and they produce 19 mouths or openings to the outer ocean. The rivers flow to the north and empty into the inner earth. The canyon, which lies beneath the pole, is approximately 33 leagues wide, which is about 100 modern miles. The next section right here states very precisely, in this part of the north exist the Bargo Islands, according to M. Paul Valette, Book 2, Chapter 61. These islands always rotate around the North Pole, and the compass needles always point to the south. Part 2, right here, states, this channel has 5 openings, and because of the speed of the flow, it never freezes. Section 3 of the map, also in 2 sections, clearly states, this island is the best and healthiest of the entire north. This channel is composed of 3 openings, which are frozen approximately 3 months out of the year. Its width is 37 leagues, or roughly 111 modern miles. Section 4, right here. Here live pygmies, which are 4 feet tall and are called Skrælingers in Greenland. The script in the Hudson Bay is also identical to several of the other maps, stating this is a freshwater sea and its extent is unknown to the natives of Canada, which we are assuming at that time were the Eskimos. Now on the back of this map